So I've had a whole bunch of ideas for different little series I want to start doing on my channel. This is actually a video I made originally because I like to keep redoing the videos that I enjoyed making back in the past, but I want to explore more into this kind of subject. So if you know anything about me, the number one thing that I'm absolutely terrified of out of everything else in the world are squid. There's actually a phobia for it. It's called Teuthiphobia. I don't even know how to pronounce this fucking word, but it's the fear of squid. It's also known as the most rational of all fears. I have never liked squid. I think they are fascinating to look at, but they're also extremely terrifying in my opinion to look at. Just something about them is really off-settling to me, really off-putting. I can't really quite pin my finger on it, but I think it has a lot to do with the fact that they are probably the most alien-looking thing that we have on this planet. And I know octopuses are very close to that as well. I'm not a fan of octopus as well. Cephalopods I stay clear of. Most people are afraid of like great white sharks, things like that in the ocean. I've always been more afraid of being dragged down by a squid. And this fear was so prominent that I did not like swimming in the deep end of swimming pools when I was growing up because I was just so terrified that the little drain at the bottom is going to have a tentacle come up and grab me and drag me under. It was terrifying. It was so bad that I didn't like taking baths. I'd only take showers for the longest time because I was still afraid of the drain. I was still not so much as the drain itself, it's just what could have been coming out of the drain to grab me and pull me in. I've never fucked with that. Squid have always been really eerie to me because they got the beaks. They have very human-looking eyes. Now they're not 100% human-like, but it's just a very distinct-looking eyeball, and especially with the great giant squid or the colossal squid, their eyeballs are the size of dinner plates. They're the size of a human head. That is fucking no. Nope, 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 nope. It's they also got the tentacles. They have their eight arms. Um, they have that stupid parrot beak that can crack through bone and skull. They're able to shoot ink. They can propel themselves. Their suction cups have claws in them. Just you just gotta have it worse than it already is. It's like everyone talks about how the platypus is like the most like what the fuck animal on the planet. I think a squid because it's just there's really nothing else like it. I mean, sure you have your octopus and jellyfish, but that's it. That's fucking it. Like when you think of a cat, you have like what 1,000 different species you can have. Same with dogs. Gorillas, maybe there's just a few handful of gorillas as well, but they're not that weird looking. They're very, if anything, very similar to us. Like I look at a gorilla and I'm like, that's almost a human being. I mean, same as a chimp, same as any kind of monkey or any other of the great ape family. But like when I look at a squid, mm-mm. There was a game I used to play. It was one of my first rated M for mature video games. It was called Jaws Unleashed, I think it was. I had this, I believe, for the PlayStation 2 or it was for the Nintendo GameCube. Probably not the GameCube because of all the blood in it. But you played as Jaws the shark. So you would like run around or swim around and eat people, attack and destroy boats and shit. It was really fun. It was a great time. You got to play as a shark. I never really cared about sharks. I know a lot of people were like fascinated with the concept of the megalodon, which is yes, it is pronounced megalodon, not megalodon. A lot of people will sit there and call it a megalodon shark. It's called a megalodon shark. A giant shark, everyone's like afraid of, but to me, it's just no more worse than a regular shark because it's still just gonna like chomp down on you. But squid, on the other hand, different story. So when I'm playing this Jaws game, there is a level where you actually have to fight a giant squid. If I remember correctly, it was in like this fan room, like an underwater fan room. And I remember I was like, no. As soon as I got to that level, I was like, I'm done. I don't want to play this game anymore, and I never touched it since. And it sucks because I always liked playing that game. It was really fun. Even when I was back, like, goofing off and stuff. Like, you ever play, like, Echo the Dolphin? Like, that very infamous fuck you game that's extremely hard to play that a lot of YouTubers over dramatically make videos on where they, like, freak out about how difficult it is. It is a hard game. Like, don't get me wrong. But that first part, when you get to just play as the dolphin, it's like the funnest thing in the world. But when you play as the shark, it's really great fun as well until you get to that damn squid level. Because no, Um, the Kraken has always been a story. Everyone knows about the Kraken. It's always been a very hot topic, kind of ordeal with the ocean. It's a great mythology behind it. I've always been really interested in it. I don't ever want to deal with it or see it, of course, and a lot of people kind of associate it with the giant squid. If you look at some of the old artworks, you can see like a squid attacking a boat. Probably the most terrifying thing I've ever seen in any movie ever was Pirates of the Caribbean at Dead Man's, or I'm sorry, at Dead Man's Chest. Yeah, that's what it was. It was Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest with the Kraken, the giant squid monster that got on the boat and ate Jack Sparrow. I was like, no, absolutely fucking not. That movie scared me more than the fucking Grudge. I should honestly make a childhood trauma video over that one because that actually happened. It terrified the living shit out of me. Um, but no, I've never been a fan of Squid. Squid are like the most eeriest fucking thing in the entire world. And you know what's the funniest thing? They're fucking smart. That's the worst part about it. They are intelligent. They can also change their colors of their body. They can do all kinds of crazy shit that animals on this planet should not have access to. I feel like Squid will really be the ones to end up taking over the world at some point in the future, which is funny because there was an old Discovery Channel show called The Future is Wild, I believe, and they had two different segments on there where squid evolved to be these super creatures of the planet. One was like the rainbow squid, which became like this giant like squid that can like turn invisible and stuff. It was just like what the fuck. Now the show was basically like what scientists would believe specific animals would evolve into based off of like their like speculated evolution paths that they've already been following, like what they were like what direction they were heading to. The other segment with the squid is when squid learned how to get on land, and you had two species of squid. You had like these little monkey squids that would like go through the trees and they would throw rocks and shit, which is already scary to me because that's just like signs of intelligence that only exist really in apes. I mean, maybe some dolphins, maybe some parrots, but primarily in apes. And then the other ones were these giant elephant-sized squid that were just like destroying trees. And their tentacles would just grab stuff and they would eat it as they're walking. And I'm just like, no, I'm good. I'm good. That shit terrified the fuck out of me when I was growing up. But yeah, the fear of squid. I'm sorry I cannot pronounce the word properly, but it is the most rational of all the fears. 10 out of 10 would not fuck with this stuff. Like, if I ever saw a squid in real life, I'd probably be like, no, this is the entire reason why I don't like calamari or any kind of sushi, which I understand it's fish, but it's just too close. And they usually serve some kind of like squid product or whatever to eat, which is why I stay clear of that. So, yeah, this is the first phobia episode we're going to do. Now, not all of these phobias that I'm going to be talking about are things that I suffer from or that I'm terrified of, but it's an interesting thing to talk about nonetheless. So, until the second episode, whenever we get to that one, thank you very much. I will say if you like this video, if you randomly found it because you were afraid of squid or you are afraid of squid, leave a like and subscribe, and hopefully you'll like the next video I do. So, until next time, stay the fuck out of the ocean.